Dobrodošli and welcome to the fourth dialogue within the project Link It Market, which is organized by the Zuluv, powered by the Foundation of Open Society Serbia, the city of Novi Sad, and the Foundation Novi Sad 2021, European Capital of Culture 22. My name is Igor Fridrih Petković. I live and work in Graz as an artist, cultural manager, and researcher. And in cooperation with the art association Aporon 21, we searched for international artists who have a history of more or less forced migrants status, refuge, or asylum seekers, and expressed their strong life experience through their personal iconography in arts. With this talk today, we present 5 international artists with strong migrational biographies. We will reflect on their diverse ways, routes, and reasons of migration, the different tactics of adopting artistic tools of expressions to process the social and institutional repressions and to give a strong voice and face to their cancelled, deleted, assimilated, transformed identities or fluid, hybrid, transcultural, or multiple stories and narratives. Here with me in the digital village of this global live stream, I want to welcome Marjam Mohmadi, art photographer and concept artist, emigrated from Tehran, Iran, now living in Graz. Hello, Marjam.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me.
Marjam is a documentary and art photographer specialized in stage photography. She was a lecturer at the Tehran University of Art for several years. She devoted her doctoral thesis to the subject of photography and feminism. She has solos and joint shows as curated photo exhibitions in different galleries. Since 2009, she is in Graz, and 2013, she was awarded the Art Prize of the City of Graz. In her works, she explores the effects of social, political, cultural, and religious conditions on the personal, local, and global level for women, migrants, and minorities. The next artist I want to welcome with us is Zoe Guglielmi. She is painter, emigrated from Croatia, Zagreb to Vienna, lived in 6 different countries, now living and working in Greece. Hello, Zoe.
Thank you.
So,
thank you for inviting me.
Very nice. Zoe is a Croatian-born representational painter. At the age of 6, she emigrated to Austria and studied in Vienna at the Academy of Fine Arts with Hubert Schmalix and Amalie van Wulfen. Because travel plays an essential role in her life as well as in her artistic work, Zoe has already lived in 6 different countries and selected now Greece as her current domicile. The inspiration of Greece is its colors, shapes, myths, and archaic symbols, and inspires her to her dreamlike sequences of her works. Birds are a very common topic in her work, which are prophetic beings who are considered to be the portrait people as abstract messengers and as a tool to display one's emotions. She highlighted behind it psychological nuances and hidden aspects of the human psyche. So with us as a third artist, we have Maviead Al Karam, aka Moet, also known as Valentin Faschingsbauer. He's photographer and filmmaker, emigrated from Aleppo, Syria, was a refuge through the Balkan route and also on Serbian-Hungarian border, and now living and working in Salzburg. Hello, Valentin.
Thank you. Hello, it's my pleasure to be with you. Hi.
Me too, thank you. You escaped with 5 years ago from the horror of Aleppo and came to Austria. You learned very fast German, finished the masterclass of photography in Salzburg, and I saw your remarkable film I, which was your diploma, where you speak about the alienation in foreign country and culture. And somehow for me, you are a very strong and critical voice of young refugee, handling with their tragic stories of fear, war, and death, seeking for a better future in love and respect.
Yeah.
The next artist we have here in our great round is Arif Kryeziu, fine artist, author, and art dissident, emigrated from Yugoslavia, Kosovo, before the wars, now living and working in Graz. Hello, Arif. Nice to be with you. Hi. Arif was born in Tarande, in Kosovo, 61, and studied painting and set design in Tirana, Albania. He currently lives in Graz. In his novels, he experiments with different styles and genres. He playfully combines Balkan blues, Orient charm, and Occidental boldness into a literary carpet with 1001 knots. A narrator par excellence who knows how to speak with the tongue of an angel. Sometimes gloomy, sometimes euphoric, sometimes frivolous, sometimes inflammatory, but always gripping. In September 2016, his novel Fucking Karma was published by Said Wolf Verlag. In this book, he speaks really open about his migrational story, about the bad sides and how he transformed it through art and love. We will come to this. And the last one in the round, hello, Samson Ogiamien, freelance artist, emigrated from Benin City, Nigeria to Graz, and now he's in a small camping hut somewhere in the Pustinia in Burgenland, near the border to Hungary. Hello, Samson.
Thank you for having me, and hello.
Hello. Samson sees his art as a bridge between cultures and as an opportunity to bring people together. Samson was focusing on art and design, as well as welding and construction. He managed a sculpture workshop in Africa and came to Austria 2004. As a young artist, he attended the 2-year masterclass in sculpture at Ortweinschule Graz, a college, from which he graduated. 2014, he received the award of the city of Graz, promoting outstanding artists. After performing at the International Festival for Street Art La Strada, he was invited to participate in the Colombo Art Biennale Sri Lanka. For him, it's important to pass his talent into workshops. Samson sees his art as a bridge between cultures and as an opportunity of bringing people together. So we have a short introduction into these very diverse, very different stories of migration and of migration today, because there is no one concept, there is no one face and one story. There are a lot of them, and we want to give you all listeners now a little bit more insight to it. In this short talk, we will open dialogue into the virulent subject of global migration today and the role of visual arts practice as a strong discourse of contribution. Influencing public narratives allows us to be more than spectators in the discourse about unprotected borders, global migration crisis, closed identity constructions, and new racist and nationalism. Art has a remarkable power to move people and institutions and to break old established structures. Maryam, tell us about the nature of your power to move the perception of the people and society through your art, and where it comes from, and how it is connected with hidden and forgotten female stories. Like your photographic series, Wir schaffen das, we can get it in the exhibition Memories Icon, or in the exhibition Guerrilla of Enlightenment, your work, It's Not My ID.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's kind of confronting with the phenomenon name is migration. And when I start my life, my new life in Austria, and of course, as an artist, I start to go through my art. And of course, the migration, different situations because of migration came to my art. And it was very, for me, also sometimes cultural question what I am doing with my visual culture. And of course, as an artist, in this phenomenon moment of your life as a migrant, in the beginning of this phenomenon and in the beginning of your way in new country, it's I was feeling like a little bit schizophrenic person, just going around confronting with new visual cultural codes and combining with my, let's say, my visual cultural codes. And then I found this way, because I'm a stage photographer and I can make my own scenarios in my stage, in my studio. Then I start to continuing my storytellings about different different lives of different women in different situations. And I start go through the migrants, working with migrants in Austria. And because, as all of you know, there are different controversial topics about migrants. And let's start with integration and what does it mean, integration, in the scene of female migrants. And of course, I start to this picture that you are watching. This exhibition I curated 2016 in Graz, and I invited 16 artists from different Middle Eastern countries and European countries. The topic of all of them, the common topic, was women and how women empowerment can work and how women discriminating situation exists, and how female artists are confronted with empowering. The other work is about confronting two gender, male and female, in a virtual position of societies. And this is especially about the societies that still you have this discrimination between two genders. Men has more power, women have less power. And I should really say that this doesn't exist just in some countries. That's like my first country, but it exists in different countries, still in Europe also, that still we have many topics to fight as a woman, and still we have many topics to empower as a woman also in many European countries. And this is exactly this storytelling that I decided to continue in my work in Graz also.
So as I get you, you are very much breaking this historic iconographies of identity. What means gender? What means classes? What means diversity in culture? Yeah. So this diversity is very hard broken in our reality through not only through the crisis of the last years. The journey that Maviead Al Karam took before he got his status of a refugee was long, hard and expensive, and of course very dangerous. In his art, he speaks open about fear, alienation, depression and darkness, and how he could overcome his these negativities through art and creativity. Such deeply personal experience of displacement and largely remains hidden from the public consciousness, although we've seen some of these journeys captured in shocking details on the news. Media and art activism have turned the reality of global migration into a political charge discussion of universal human rights. So through your filmic storytelling, how you integrate this way of changing society's discussion in an artistic or political way, and how you integrate your travel as a refuge also through the Balkans and through Serbia into your status as a photographer artist. Please, Maviead.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in 2021, and there's still a lot of problem that we took with us the whole time, and it's time to get rid of it. And there's a lot of people who try to deal with this problem and show it to people, but if you see it, it doesn't mean that you can get it. You just only can get it if you live it. So I was trying to reflect this kind of stories through my pictures and my movie. And as I said, it's like a problem from the past, but it's still now in the future. We're still dealing with it, unfortunately, I would say. So I escaped from Syria through the Balkan Road to Austria. And I was telling you before that I took also my camera, which I was planning to document the whole journey. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that because I lost it. And as I said here, through my images, I'm trying to reflect or spread the peace and love to make the people understand what is it to be forced to leave your country and go to some new place, to a new place where you don't know anything about it. I mean, you don't even know which language is spoken here in Austria when I came here at the beginning. So a lot of people were thinking that we are coming here just because of money, but this is not the case. So in this picture, one of a kind, I just want to say that we are all born the same. Every one of us is one of a kind. But how integration, I was trying to explain integration work here. You can't just say that refugees need to integrate themselves. In order for integration to work, you need both sides. So you need the society and you need the newcomers. It's surely that we need to give more, but in order for integration to work, you need both of them to work together. So you need respect from the new society and you need work from the newcomers. And this is like, you can still be yourself, but you can change yourself in order to integrate to this new community, but in your own way. And in this picture also, this is a really young man. I met him on the way to Austria, and you can look at him and you can say he's like 40 years old or something. He's 23, I think. But he lived a lot and he has been through a lot of problem in his life. And his story is really, I mean, no one heard this story without crying. And that's why I love photography, actually, because there are like seconds just goes by, and the only way to record this moment is through the camera. I mean, I still have the picture in my mind, but this is the only way that I can show it to people and also tell the story about it. And this is also a picture of me trying to explain how it is hard to integrate in a new society, because sometimes you still feel yourself like invisible, because some of people who are a little bit, how to say that, like they don't want to understand the reason why we came here, and they are just ignorant to understand that. So through these people, I still have this feeling that I'm invisible, but also thank these people, I'm able to fight my way through integration and just show it that it's possible when both sides work together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So do you see that somehow we had in Austria a long tradition of discussion if we are coming in country or not, yeah? And this discussion is still not clear, and Austria has still not clear this declaration that they are a migrant in country, yeah? And that Austria makes also institutional steps, not only one-sided integration, but declaration of their own people. Yes, we are coming in society, and we also have to make steps towards the people who come. Yeah, and in this sense, your art is also very political. Yes.
Yes, it is indeed, and I'm also an integration ambassador in Austria. So as you said, Austria did try a lot to do, but there was a lot of things missing in media. So in media, it wasn't that hard, or it wasn't. They didn't try to give the people the right information, because a lot of people, they were asking us questions that you can say it's not true, that really they don't know the reason why we're here. So, but let's hope that in the future everything will be better.
Yeah. So thanks to us, we get contra narrations and better narrations and better stories to all of this. Thank you. So making art and being creative allows a lot of people to explore all kind of diverse facets of their real being and who they really are as people and humans. Here they are not ruled by a simple marker such as race or class or gender or status of immigration. What makes art so powerful is the development of resilience. It allows the artists themselves and the spectators to connect with the emotions and feelings. So, Samson, you pointed out that art for you is a medium of communication, and that it connects between the people, and this is very important for you. So you make also workshops, but your art is also in open space for a lot of people. So what is the power of this communication tool, where we touch them, and and show us a little bit words to your art, which we will see now.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the workshop that I offer helps people not only to be creative, but also to promote integration. This very photo, these are African migrants, the people who left their country, and most of them, of course, they are from my country, from Benin City, where I was born, and they left their home and looking for a greener pasture, and they ended up in Austria. But along the line of struggling, and these guys, they died mysteriously. But like you know, in my art, of course, my art was influenced also by my culture, and I remember the culture of commemorating the kings and the queens. It is like this, that when the kings and queens dies, and their death is being commemorated, and not only by ceremony, but also in the end we made their bust. And like this picture you're seeing is a bust of a commemorative head of a king. But this commemorative tradition, it is what I took along, and to commemorate the death of the young Africans who left their home country and died in Europe. But this particular one that I commemorated, they died in Austria. But one of the man, his name was Lucky, and when I was also asylum seeker, we all were in the same room. So his death pains me a lot, that I was like, well, what I could do for him as a friend, it is to commemorate his death. But this is also the power of art. And these are the people that were never paid deserved attention to. And that motivated me to use the commemoration tradition of a king to commemorate just a street boys who were never paid attention to. But coming to this picture, The Stranded. I titled this picture, this sculpture, The Stranded, and because it reflects on my situation in 2004 when I came to Austria, and at a point I felt being stranded because there wasn't legal document to walk or to move around or even to get out of Austria, So I felt, well, I am stranded. So I created this stranded sculpture after my own personal photograph and feeling being naked. But there's also something that that I also want to tell the people, that although I am stranded, but there is something that I am taking along, which is the bag which I had. And this bag is filled up of, talent and culture, and experiences. So this is something that nobody can take from you. So I created this work, and the International Street Festival of Puppet and Theater, La Strada, and took this sculpture and placed this sculpture in 9 places in Graz, the city where I live. And people related to the stranded sculpture. I just want to demonstrate that, well, I am physically fit, but I am stranded. So that is the story of the stranded sculpture.
So now you are, do you feel still stranded, or did you get already some roots? How would you say now because you are now again in a camping environment somewhere else?
Well, as an artist, our lives are always, moving from one place to another, So this is something that nobody can take from. This is our freedom as an artist, But talking about being stranded, I can tell you today that like this stranded, what the stranded is carrying are these, the talent and the experience and the cultures, which also help the stranded to get out of the state of strandedness. So categorically, I'm not longer stranded. I am at home, both in Austria and also in Nigeria, and in 2014, the city of Graz, like you said, they awarded me, for my artistic and cultural contribution to the society. But not only that, I also gained a lot of attention to the international community, and of course, I gained the nationality as well, and as well as my Nigerian nationality, so I am no longer stranded. But the greatest story about the stranded sculpture is that when La Strada took this sculpture and portrayed to the people, and there was a statement that that Samson and the sculpture, they are both stranded. So at least either Samson or the sculpture should be allowed to stay in Austria, So that was a strong statement that at least one should succeed, So, but as it stands right now, both of us we've succeeded.
Okay, so stranding is a reality which a lot of migrations maybe felt in one of the other ways, but the migrational story of Arif is more than only stranding. It is it is waving tides of stranding, getting away, stranding again. In a very fictional story, he tells his narration on the basis of real happenings into a roman which holds very fictional stories in it. And a citat of Arif is, only what happens out of love is real. So how love and karma are connected and what everything else is unreal, I will ask the author of the roman Fucking Karma, Arif. How is love and karma connected with everything what is unreal? Hast du meine Frage verstanden?
Ich habe nicht richtig gehört. Nochmal
Okay.
auf Deutsch.
Wenn du so I will translate it on German and Arif will answer and I will translate it again. So wenn du sagst, alles ist alles passiert aus, also alles was passiert aus Liebe ist real, wie hängt Liebe, Karma und das Unechte dann zusammen?
Ich würde sagen, dass es gibt nicht, was unnett ist, aber es gibt etwas, das neutral ist, aufgrund, dass nicht sozusagen nicht das Universum nimmt keine Notiz, weil es genügt nicht, es fehlt etwas und das ist die Güte.
So Arif says, in the universe there is something missing when the love is not there, and this is Güte. Sorry, my English word is now, let me say, a good meaning with the people, well-meaning with the people. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, und deswegen, ich glaube, Priorität hat das, was sie evoluiert, was sie entwickelt und was Spuren hinterlässt.
Which is important is what evaluates, which makes traces and which stays behind.
Und was hinterlässt mehr Spuren als die Liebe?
What more
Was kann
traces?
wirklicher sein als das?
Yeah. What is more real than love? What can lead to more traces than love? So in diesem Sinne, Love, Liebe, wie kannst du diesen Hass oder diese Negativität durch deine Kunst transformieren? How is the possibility of transformation, this hatred and these really, really bad human stories into something beautiful?
Ja, also es ist wahr, dass ich habe vieles Übles erlebt, ich hab viel Folter erlebt und dadurch ist viel Schmerz entstanden und irgendwann habe ich angefangen zu fragen, was mache ich damit? Und da sind mir die Muscheln eingefallen, dass dass die Muscheln, die Perlenmuscheln nämlich, dass die mit denselben Organen einatmen und schlucken, deswegen passiert, wenn sie dann ernähren, auch mal Kieselsteine zu sich nehmen. Und die können aber nicht mehr zurückspülen. Und deswegen fangen sie an mit Perlmut zu umhüllen, die Kieselsteine. Und das ist sozusagen die Geburt von einer Perle oder mehreren Perlen. Und das ist mehr oder weniger, was ich in meinen Schreiben tue. Also ich versuche das Ganze zu veredeln. Und mein Perlmut ist der Humor vor allem, die Liebe, Fantasy.
So with love, with fantasy and with humor, he wants to translate his feelings, and he describes somehow the process of filtering the bad stories and turning them into light or into something beautiful, like a mussel, which is filtering the water, and particles stay somewhere, and around these particles it's more and more layers until it gets a perla. And this is a symbol of how he develops his art and his stories. Arif, you were you were riding with a dangerous bulls. You were trying to break out of prison like Dumas, Count of Monte Cristo. You were ending up in prison in two countries' prison. You were in Belgrade in prison, and you were in Novi Sad in the military. How this all comes together? Du warst in Novi Sad im Militär und und in Belgrad im Gefängnis. Du warst auch in Albanien im Gefängnis. Glaubst du, ist das wirklich einfach nur fucking Karma? Oder hat es den Sinn, dass du nur so diese Geschichte erzählen konntest?
Es ist beides, und es ist auch viel mehr dahinter. Also mein Ziel bei meinem Schreiben ist sozusagen, gewisse etwas zu reparieren. Und das sind bestimmte Konstruktionen vor allem. Und ich gehe weiter und sage auch die meisten Archetypen. Also für mich, die Archetypen sind sehr beladen. Also es steckt sehr viel Polarität. Mehr als wahrscheinlich im Leben steckt. Ja? Und dementsprechend bezeichnen wir als einen literarischen Chirurgen, der zumindest einen Archetypus zu reparieren versucht. Und das ist vor allem, wo es darum geht, um Gut und Böse. Wenn wir unsere Meeren anschauen, unsere Mythen, dann steckt viel zu viel Heldentum drinnen. Und obwohl früher das nie der Fall war, also zumindest nicht mit dieser Intensität, wie unsere Typen heutzutage beladen sind. Und für mich das hat angefangen mit dem Homer, dass die Zeit, die Helden zu sehr idealisiert wurden. Die griechischen Götter, so als vollkommen, die Krieger, Achilles, unsiegbar und was weiß ich noch. Also. Und deswegen versuche ich einfach,
nur, dass ich
in meinem Buch
zu...
Ja.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, Arif is conducting and analyzing archetypes, and he's searching for their truthness, and he wants to reactivate the archetype which he was under represented until now, and it's the archetype of an anti-hero or the super anti-hero. Even because archetypes of hero stories and hero narratives, it's already from the ancient Greek, and even older, the Mahabharata and so on. So he wants to tell new narratives of a hero who is not this classical hero of winning wars and so on. I hope I have it right translated. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now we come to this point where dream and reality, as in Arif's book, come together into painted dreamlike sequences. So Zoe, worldwide borders are closed again. Lockdowns are going around and cleaning or shutting down the movement of people. A lot of refugees can't seek asylum, and they are forced to make dangerous journeys until they are able to seek refuge in safer lands. You had this history in your own biography as a young child, a refuge from Zagreb to Austria. So how is this experience of the 90s as a young girl influencing your art and your life, as you are now positively migrating through a lot of countries and now living in Greece, freely migrated?
Yes, I took this experience of this forced migration, which was by no means a positive one, because there were times of big uncertainty, of big fear. We didn't know how this all would end. And I took this negative emotion and I transformed it into something very creative. So my art is definitely about transformation and also about duality and archetypes. So in this transformation, I'm trying to take this fear and trying to transform it into something newborn. That's why I often use birds as archetypes. They are the typical animals of migration on the one hand, and also animals that are messenger figures between realities, between the worlds, and also, of course, the biggest archetype of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes in my art, I'm trying to invoke strong emotions because as privately as a person, I am more calm. I don't show so much my dark side. So I use my paintings as somehow cathartic mean of showing what's going really inside of me. So it's like I'm searching for a peak point somehow to let everything out. And for that, I use often archetypes. And I use also elements from folklore and from Slavic and Balkan folklore, like this old lady with the sewn mouth and with this thing on her head. So this is like a typical iconography from my Balkan background. And I try to invoke the memories of my past. I try to invoke the history of my country in a collective unconsciousness. I try to tap into the collective unconsciousness and try to paint the images that come to my mind, like in a dream-like state of mind. So my inspirations are definitely dreams and meditative states of mind where I just step into whatever comes to mind. And I often paint family members and friends because I want to have them with me while I'm traveling. As you mentioned before, I had a change of surroundings and of settings, so that's why I want to keep up with all the changes. So try to paint the people that are important to me, to always keep them with me and to carry them with me. So that's why those are my parents. And the painting before it was my best friend. And I like to carry them with me to have like a gallery of everyone I love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I want to tell you all a short 8 No Border haiku from Antonio Cesar, who said, "People cross borders. It's been that ever since. Borders cross people. Dear people from Mars, are our borders visible in your evening sky?" So the first of this haiku, people cross borders, borders crosses people. It can be a very hard feeling. Borders can be demons and borders can be friends. So you lived both. Is it now a dream come true that these borders are open? And how it's connected to the birds who don't know in their pure existence the word border?
Yes. So the borders do still exist, but I try to make the best out of it, because more than ever the borders are palpable because of also the corona crisis. So now we're even more surrounded by borders because we're more than ever not allowed to cross them. So the birds, they are like a dream metaphor how it would be if we were really free, if we really didn't have this socially constructed borders.
Mm-hmm. 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 How do you feel with borders, Maryam? I remember we were together in a project in traveling from Graz to Nigeria, and in Benin, you suddenly get the mail and you wanted to go back to Tehran. And from Africa to Iran was a hard connection. So how do you feel about these borders before and now with Corona? What is a possible answer for us on these restrictive measures?
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult topic. Actually, when I think about borders, and when you said it was 2010 that it was something happened, and I should cross all these borders, all these countries from Nigeria to, I remember, to Istanbul and then to Tehran. It was kind of very strange that I could arrive in two days in Tehran from Nigeria. And I couldn't somehow believe my eyes that I could really I can do that. No? But, and then when you say now with the pandemic problem, that what does it mean of the borders? Now, what does it mean that you are really not allowed to pass the borders? And it gets, of course, more and more tangible for all of us. And back to this movement of migrants movement 2015, that they could really come through, as an example, for example, from Afghanistan, all then to Iran, and then to Turkey, and then all the Balkan routes. And how does it mean to pass all of these borders? And for example, when I talk with some of them, they didn't know in which country they are now. And till that they arrive to police stations with the buses and this. And what does it mean, the borders, really? Is it really the borders? For me, it's very political borders. And then when they arrive, then all of us, we should pass many social and cultural borders, you know, because they are all very, we always pass many barriers in different situations. And yeah, unfortunately, because of pandemic, I could now really say, now I feel the borders. Before, it was not really a topic for me as a person in my biography. But in the pandemic, when I feel, wow, I cannot fly maybe 4 hours to my family, and it is border. For me, but border for me, first of all, is very political topic, and then it gets the geographical ones.
So we saw in the last refugee crisis somehow the institutions not functioning as they should as human rescuer. We saw private initiatives and NGOs trying to help people. And the art provocateur and activist Banksy funded a search and rescue boat in the Mediterranean Sea. So is it somehow, artists is actually with his money, making a lot of money, making an art scene, he's at least rescuing people really in the Mediterranean Sea. Is it the job of art and artists to rescue anything? Very provocative question. What would you say, Maryam?
About this special example that you mentioned about Banksy, we were also talking about it. I feel yes, what you can, you should do. And somebody has the possibility, like Banksy, the financial possibility, the supporter, the sponsors, and all in art markets, and all that somebody like him has. And then he uses it also as a humanity movement or a human artistic performance somehow. But this is a performance that it can really help many people. I don't know how many people fit to this boat, but even if we say 30 people, 30 is 30, you know. And for me, yes. And but back to the other part of your question, if the artist has this duty to help, to rescue, I think yes. And most of the artists and all of us, according to our possibilities, to our facilities, we are doing that. with our paintings, with our talks, with our seminars, and with our discussions together. We are somehow doing that. And for me, this is my personal idea, that we should use, all of us has very small, maybe small, some has big tribunes, the place to talk, the platforms to show, to work. And it's I can see it in the picture of Mawiead before, that with this picture that he's standing, and you see the I think it was sea back of him, and this is somehow a picture to show a crisis time. It's a time that is a chaotic time, and this is not about just him. It's about the 1,000 million people that happen to them this moment, and somehow the art is doing that. When somebody is busy with this topic, it is, yeah.
So Mawiead, the integration from which you spoke also, and the lost stories with who get lost with your camera, and not only with your camera, but with a lot of stories who get lost on the way and not get a face and a voice. You as a, let me say, a positive example of how you put yourself out of this negative migrational status. Is this also your possibility of showing others how you can heal with art, or how you can rescue them somehow through your art? Is this a topic for you in your art, to rescue?
Yes, of course, because when I was a kid, somebody told me that put your anger in creativity and transfer this energy to creativity. In this way, you can profit yourself and get more creative, and also get rid of your anger. And every one of us, I think, has his own way to get rid of this negativity. So some of us try to eat more, cook more, or do art, or do anything. And in my way was like, I want to do something that I can also let other people understand the problem with integration, because I've been here since 5 years, as you said, and I didn't see any advance in the way that integration has been dealt with it. There's no right way until now. I mean, we take a lot of courses in integration, but I didn't see any courses for Austrian how to deal with refugees, because as I said, both sides need to work on integration, because we can both develop and make the society even better if we work hand in hand, not against each other. We together can speed the process of evolution and everything. But if we work against each other, we will just lose time, resources, and also many lives, like we see in the Mediterranean, as you said.
Yeah. So this question I want to pass now on Arif also. Arif, glaubst du, dass wir als Künstler die Welt retten können? Arife, misliš da mi možemo da spasimo svet kao umetnici kroz našu umetnost? Arif, hast du meine Frage gehört? Arif? Okay, technical problems.
Nochmal.
So one Samson left us somehow already.
Yeah, but I I mean, the camera just went off,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I've been trying to restore it, but it's not working out.
Okay.
So
you see, we have some international broadcast problems like the Eurovision Song Contest 30 years ago, only that we are now on a private level.
but I
Samson,
can hear you loud and clear.
super. Samson, what would you have said if some artist would have rescued you on your way, on your migrational way, with an art project? How would you react on something like this?
Yeah, well, you know, I will be very, very thankful, and of course, art has really rescued me. Of course, like I mentioned, how La Strada portray my artwork, you know, to the society, and I tell you, people was like a kind of embracing the stranded, you know, and hugging the stranded, and you know, feeling same sadness, you know, that the stranded was feeling. So I think we all, as an artist, we have that potential to help, you know, people in need, physically or mentally. You get it? Because even in my workshops with the asylum seekers, you know, not just you know, helping them to be creative, but also giving them a voice, you know, because we all have our network, you know, and there are some of us that our network could get to big ears, you know. So I think it is very important. I mean, we're doing art. I mean, art has always been a medium of communication, you know. And but of course, this is what I learned even from my culture, you know, that in 13th century, 12th century, we never developed a written script. You get it? So the only means we have in documenting our history, you know, it is through art. Through sculptures, you know, and we never had camera then even. So art is essential.
Yeah, absolute. Thank you for this. So, Arif, I try it once more. Do you hear me now? Arif, hörst du mich? Gut. The question was, die Frage war an dich auch, is your book somehow the big rescue of your own life? Ist dieses Buch Fucking Karma vielleicht die große Rettung deines eigenen Lebens in erster Linie? And with this you show how other people could heal somehow. Mit dem zeigst du auch, dass wir auch andere Menschen mitheilen können vielleicht.
Absolut, also du hast wirklich getroffen damit. Genau, also obwohl der Titel ist sehr hart, es ist aber eigentlich ironisch gemeint. Also,
the title is hard, but it's ironic.
Geht darum zu zeigen, dass eigentlich gibt kein Krieg. Und das ist das, was ich vorhin bezeichnet habe, als eine zu sehr polarisierende Archetypus. Also Bösen und Bösen für mich. Und das versucht zu erläutern darin. Das heißt, nur wenn wir auf Gut kommen, dann
Okay. Okay, so breaking stereotypes is a central point. I want to get maybe on the last point, možemo sad možda na našim jezikom, ti imaš isto biografijsku deo koja je isto u tvom knjigu, gde ideš u Petrovaradinu u vojsci, znači ti si bio u vojsci u Petrovaradinu, gde si upoznao, kako si mi rekao, Janez Janča, predsjednika dadašnje Slovenije, taj poznati kosovski fudbaler i tako dalje, znači vi ste bili zanimljiva... to je bilo kasno, ok. Ali vi ste bili zanimljiva generacija, ali isto si doživio, znači bio si u zatvor u Beogradu i u zatvor u Tirana, na tom ratu Slovenije, Jugoslavije, 3 dana slovenski oslobođenski rat, ti si šetao ili trčao granice između Slovenije i Austrije da bežiš od ovog rata. Kaži nama malo kako taj putovanje, kako to ima veze do dan danas, gde si onda stradao u Gracu i do dan danas.
To ima veze od toga što prije toga sam mirisao rat u teme sa drugim Srbi Albancima u Kosovu. I onda jednog dana sam rekao to onima i oni su me smijali i su neće biti nikad borba. Ja sam rekao, biće. I to je bio taj razlog za to sam pobegao, jer uvek posmatrao sam sebi kao neki da ne voli zlo, ne voli borbu i zato sam odlučio da pobjegnem.
I transformacija si našao ne u slikama, ne u crtanje, nego u literaturi. Znači, jel su reči jače nego slika?
Pa da, ne bih rekao baš tako, ali na neki drugi način. Jer se ne kaže džabe da na početku je bilo reč, kao i u Bibliji stoji. I zato traje više od reči, bez toga da ignoriramo one ostale umjetci i što ja znam, ali ja personalno mislim da to je važnije. Neki šireni medijum je koji čovjek, prije svega ako doživio to sve, bolje da priča o tome nego samo da slika fragmente od neke osjećaja.
Ali ima ljudi koji sanjaju slikama i ljudi koji sanjaju rečima. Znači i tu imamo... A ti sanjaš rečima, vjerovatno. Da.
Možemo da kažemo tako.
Da. So, we landed now on this, that somehow dreams can happen as pictures, or dreams can happen in words. So maybe a short connecting round. In which language actually now you are dreaming, Zoe?
I'm actually dreaming in German most of the time.
Really? Okay.
Yes, German.
Give me
not Croatian.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's that because it's my strongest language. I went to school in Austria and to university. Actually, I identify linguistically mostly in German.
Ako si malo duže u Hrvatskoj, postaneš da sanjaš na hrvatskom jeziku?
Da, mora malo više vremena proći. Mora proći bar mjesec dana da se opet aklimatiziram. A ti? Kako je kod tebe?
Da, isto tako. I čak i na početak u san osjetim ili vidim da pravim greške i onda probam da ih ispravim u san.
Razbilja. Meni isto treba malo vremena uvijek.
Yeah. So Mert, in which language do you dream?
Well, I dream in 3 different languages: in English, in German, and also in Arabic.
Ah, yeah.
So it's like a mix. It can happen that I have one dream where I speak the 3 different languages with 3 different people. So it's getting crazy in my mind. As we always used to say, German life is too short to learn German. So German is taking control of my brain somehow, and even affected by English.
Yes, yes. So functional dreams, maybe the guy who speaks German in your dreams is the correct one.
Schauen wir mal.
Schauen wir mal. Maryam, do you know this phenomenon also of language jumping in dreams? And do you dream in Farsi?
It's very interesting question because it was a big topic for me always. Because since 2009, I start to have muted dreams. It means everybody talk in my dreams where I couldn't hear any language. And it's, of course, it came from a very confusing language and confusing functional of language in brain. And it's very interesting that it starts 6 months that I hear by dream German, but it's just a start. It means 11 years I dreamed very mute. I had very muted dreams, but it started in pandemic. I don't know if it has something to do with pandemic crisis, but it's German.
Wow. Okay, so maybe in this dream style feeling which we now somehow ended up, we would wish all our listeners out there that they also listen more to their multicultural dreams, and you can even have multiple stories in one language. Just imagine what happened when you have 2 and more. So somehow finishing statement, I searched a very nice statement of a Mexican artist who say in New York Times to immigration. He's Felipe Baez. I believe that when we share our images and tell our stories, we illustrate the human struggle, and this has the power to win over broad audiences. Art drives ideas home in a way that is unmatched with any other medium. We need multidimensional, complex stories about who we are. We need to represent ourselves in our full humanity. That is how we can combat racism, and that is how we can achieve justice. But more importantly, that is how we reclaim our existence. So that we are live and that we are showing our existence in this sense, let us reclaim our existence in the following exhibition in Novi Sad 22. We will see us there, we will speak in our art. I thank you all for being here. Thank you, Maryam. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Mut. Thank you, Arif. And thank you, Samson.
Thank you too.
Thank you, Igor.
So,
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Goodbye and have a good evening.
Good evening. Bye.